Morning, students. Today I can see only very few people. All of you, please switch on the video. All right. I was waiting for some more people to join, but very few are joined. Anyway, with whoever is present here, we'll continue with the classes. As I have told you in the last class, today we are supposed to start off with a short story. Which is a short story we are supposed to study today?
The Story of an Hour.
The Story of an Hour. Now, from the title itself, The Story of an Hour, seems that the story is only a very short one. An incident that has taken place maybe for 1 hour. All these problems were settled within that 1 hour of time. So naturally, you'll see the story is very short. So that 1 hour story we will have to finish up within 45 minutes, I think. Okay. Any idea about the story what we are going to study? No idea. Nobody has gone through, no curiosity, no. If people have no curiosity to what is going to happen in the story and all the things. Anyway, this is a story about a girl. Since majority also sitting down here are girls today, maybe let's say your story. Only how many boys I can see? 1, 2, 1 was the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Anyway, so we are going to study a very simple story, something that has just happened. Let's say, maybe we may have to say misunderstanding, and after that, what are the consequences of that misunderstanding? So that is the story we are going to study. So there are a few characters here. Maybe Mrs. Mallard. Mrs. Mallard is going to be the main character there. The person who is going to be from the beginning till the end, you will be seeing that one. So she gets the news. So very often what happens is that we get the news. Sometimes we get wrong news, wrong information. And rumors travel faster than any other thing. Even when we know something, even when we are not sure of the factuality of that incident or something information, but we have got, we are very quick in passing that message. Hey, I came to know like this. And when we are passing, we are very sure it has happened. And something of that sort. Here they got a wrong information about the death of a person. Somebody died in an accident. And rest of the things follows. What happens because of the wrong information or whatever might have in the information what was passed on. So just let's see what it is. The story is very simple one. So there is no tension to be there. Knowing that Mrs. Mallard was afflicted with a heart trouble, great care was taken to break to her as gently as possible the news of her husband's death. So now you already got the news. The information what was passed on is the information about the death of her husband. And to make the things worse, she was a heart patient. And when heart patients are there, we have to take extreme care to convey the messages correctly, properly, otherwise with a sudden shock, that person also may die. So there may be two deaths in the family on the same day. So in order to avoid, that is what they said, great care was taken to break to her as gently as possible the news. Maybe you speak about some accident and all those things. It was some rather serious accident, and slowly you say your husband was also involved in the accident, and finally say he was fatally injured. So slowly message has to be conveyed. It was her sister Josephine who told her, Josephine or Josephine, you can say it. So it was her sister Josephine who told her in a broken sentence. So it was said it in a broken sentence, not directly going and say, hi, good news is there for you, your husband is no more. That was not the way the message had to be conveyed. Because when we speak about the death of somebody, so it was said in a broken sentence, veiled hints that revealed in half concealing her husband's friend Richard was there too. So half concealing. So all of a sudden it was not conveyed halfway through. Broken sentence, accident was there. Your husband also was involved in the accident. Maybe something of that sort it was given there. Her husband's friend Richard was there too, near her. So this fellow is the main hero. Okay, there. Hero means he is the one who got the information and brought the information to Josephine, and both of them together conveys the message to Mrs. Mallett. He was a very, let's say, close friend of Mr. Mallett, and that is why as soon as he got the news, of course, we'll see that immediately he made another telegram to confirm the news. He rather confirmed the news. He got 2 telegrams to confirm that this incident or the information what he has got is the correct information. It was he who had been in the newspaper office when intelligence of the railroad disaster was received, with Brindley Muller's name heading the list of kills. So the first name in the list of people, those who were killed in the railway accident, railroad disaster, it was Mr. Mallard's name. And naturally he was in the newspaper office where he received the telegram. And naturally when he saw the first name as his best friend's name, let's see what he did. He had only taken the time to assure himself of its truth by a second telegram. So he did not run away immediately. As soon as he got the first telegram, he did not run away. But he waited for the second telegram to make sure that the news what he has received is the genuine news. This is the correct information. With what is called himself of his truth by a second telegram, and had hastened to foretell any less careful, less tender friend in bearing the sad message. So hastened meaning hurried himself, went quickly. So he went there to foretold. So he wanted to inform this one with a very careful manner to a less tender friend in a bearing the sad message. She did not hear the story as many women have heard the same, with a paralyzed inability to accept its significance. She did not hear. Maybe some difference was there in the way in which she reacted to the news. Every individual, when they receive this sort of messages, the reaction will be different. So let's see what was her reaction. She wept at once. So she was literally sobbing. Now we may have to see what kind of person is here. What was the type of married life they had? Were they really happy? Or are they just waiting? Okay, let him die and go. It does not seem that at least she really cries. She is really sad. She was really shocked to hear the news that her husband is no more. She wept at once with a sudden wild abandonment. Almost like, let's say, she was totally shattered, like a brittle, like a glass that has fallen down onto the ground, shattered. She was broken down with the news that her husband is no more. And we know that she is a very young girl, we are not speaking about a very old lady or anything, not even the middle-aged girl. She is very young girl, seems to be. Only mention of these two are mentioned there, what is called she and her husband, or rather she and her husband, okay? So not even any children. So naturally, if her husband dies, she is left alone in the world. That is probably, that is the reason, sudden wild abandonment in her sister's arm. When the storm of grief had spent itself, she went away to her room alone, and then she went to her room all alone. And that is also very dangerous. Generally, we don't leave somebody with such a shocking news to be all alone in their room. Anyway, this time she has gone to her room. She would have no one follow her, and she said, nobody should follow me. She wants to be all alone. Sometimes for some people, when they are sad, they wish to be all alone, just spend calmly some time. There stood facing the open window a comfortable roomy armchair. Into this she sank, pressed down by a physical exhaustion that haunted her body and seemed to reach into her soul. Something that seemed to reach to her soul entirely. Sometimes the body itself is completely taken away when we hear this kind of shattering news. And now, where is she standing now? There stood facing the open window. See that one, okay? Open window. Now you will see in the story, few imageries are used there. Now what is imagery? Figure of speech, imagery, where you can see certain figures right in front of us. We can just bring to our mind something as if we are literally seeing those things. Now when I say an open window, already we can see. I think there is a story also, no? An open window about some people going for a hunting or something. You might have studied in a smaller classes. Anyway, I also don't remember exactly what it is. Some story, they're making up a story there. All right, she was facing there with an open window. So a room, armchair is there. Into this, she sang, pressed down by physical exhaustion. So she was exhausted. What do you mean by exhausted? Become extremely tired, drained away of all the energy which she had. So that was the condition she was in. She just lie down to that one, that, and her body seemed to reach into her soul. She could see in the open square before her house the top of trees that were all acure. Acure means trembling, curing, trembling. So something marked by trembling or shiverings. Now she is seeing through. What you have to see is that image. You please take it. Open window is there. Now when I say open window, something is just open to you. There you are seeing the things there. And let's see what are the things she is seeing there. Before her house, the top of trees that were all acure with the new spring of spring life. So the trees, fresh shoots are there, let's say. A new life is seen on the tree. Top of the tree, you can see fresh life is there, spring life. The delicious breath of the rain was in the air. Delicious air was there. Everything seems to be something pleasing to her. The delicious breath of rain was in the air. In the street below, a peddler was crying his wares. Peddler was crying his wares, shouting out, selling things. The notes of a distant song which someone was singing reached her faintly. Another thing which she heard was the singing. All actually what we are seeing there is everything is a positive thing she is seeing there. There is nothing darker side of anything. She is saying breath of rain was there. Somebody is selling something. Distant song she could hear. Everything actually she is listening or seeing through the imagery or through that open window. Everything new thing. Fresh things are there. So we may have to say that she is seeing the possibilities of a new life there. Maybe a little rudely if I say, that fellow is gone. I have got a better life right in front of me. Possibility? At least that is what the idea we get. She says, okay, somebody is gone, but now the open window is right in front of me. Everything is open, fresh air is there, new life, new spring, everything is there. So probably she is seeing a new life that can be something very pleasant, something very good. And countless sparrows were twittering in the eaves. Twittering in the eaves. Eaves meaning the projecting edges of the part of a roof. The roof, that part which is projecting there, that we call it as eaves. So the projecting edges of the part of or roof that meets or overhang the walls. So just above the walls, the projecting part which is there. There she was saying that lot of sparrows were sitting down and chirping there, twittering in the eaves. There were patches of blue sky showing here and there through the clouds that had met and piled one above the other in the west facing her window. So through the window, she is seeing or she sees lot of things, lot of positive things are seen there. Patches of blue sky she could see. Means when you are seeing, it is not a darker sky she is seeing, a blue sky is seeing, a very clear sky is seeing. As I mentioned, maybe we may have to say that she is seeing the better possibilities. Now I may have to question again, was she really waiting to see that this fellow was dead? As soon as not even 1 hour since she received the message that he is no more, and she is very happy. And let's see what is the rest of the things. There were patches of blue sky showing here and there through the clouds that had met piled one above the other in west facing her window. She sat with her head thrown back upon the cushion of the armchair of the chair, quite motionless, except a sob came up into her throat and shook her, as a child who has cried itself to sleep continues to sob in its dream. What is another image? What is used here? Or the comparison? She is going on sobbing every now and then. You know what is sobbing? No. And now they have made a comparison there. It is almost like what? A child who had been crying. A child who had been crying for a long time, and while crying, the child sleeps off. And in the sleep also, the child sobs. So that is the way in which she was sobbing. She was sobbing, and every now and then she sobs, and again, in her thought, in her deep thought, she cries again. She sobs again. She was young. Young with a fair, calm face, whose lines bespoke meaning indicator, showing. It indicated repression. What is repression? Something what is called consciously, or some pain or something, disagreeable idea, something that we are suppressing, repression. And even a sudden strength, and there also she sees a sort of strength is also she is seen. So a type of what is called already we are mentioning. Okay, she was young. Now she may be again, as I said, she is finding the possibilities. Okay, I am young fellow, no responsibilities, no children to be taking care. Parents and nothing is mentioned there. So she feels that I'm actually a free person. I can start a new life from where I have stopped. Maybe too early to start off all this thinking, and not even the funeral of the husband is over. Still, she is calculating many things there. Sudden strength, but now there was dull stare in her eyes, whose gaze was fixed away off yonder on one of those patches of blue sky. It was not a glance of reflection, but rather indicated a suspension of intelligent thought. Suspension of intelligent thoughts. What do you mean by suspension? Suspension means, you know, it is an act of stopping something. You are suspended from the school. You are stopped from coming to the school. So something of that sort. Something is stopped there, and she's not able to understand actually what is happening there. There was something coming to her, and she was waiting for it. Something coming to her. Not it may not be physically something coming to her, or something she was waiting for. Something is coming, and she was waiting for. There was something coming to her, and she was waiting for it fearfully. What was it? She was waiting for it fearfully. Maybe something she does not wish to happen. We don't know. Just mentioned. Fearfully she was. What was it? She did not know. Maybe because of the loss of her husband, she is not aware what is happening to her. So she herself is not aware of it. She did not know what it was. It was too subtle. Subtle meaning?
Unclear.
Maybe something not very clear. A vague thing. Subtle ideas. Directly we don't get any knowledge about that one. So subtle things. And elusive meaning that must be given in the workbook. I think elusive.
Hard to remember.
Hard to understand or define, something that is very difficult for us to understand, escaping from us. So elusive to name. What was difficult for her to? So she was not able to name that one what it is. She knows that something is coming. She was waiting for that one, but she does not know what it was. How to name that one? She was not able to. So it was subtle and elusive to name, but she felt it creeping out of the sky, reaching towards her through the sounds, the sense, the color that filled the air. So from the external signs, what she says, she knows that something is coming to her, but she felt it. She can feel it creeping out the sky, reaching towards her through the sounds, the sense, the color that filled. Through the perception, we can get it, but she was not able to name that one what it is. Something is there. Almost like maybe sometime when you are asked a question, you know the answer correctly, but you are not able to express it out. How to express that one? We may not be able to do it. So something of that kind of condition, a situation in which you are not able to express yourself out. That was her condition. Now her bosom rose and fell simultaneously. Simultaneously meaning loudly, excitedly. Means, let us say, in the depth of her heart, there is something. A pressure is there. She was not able to identify that one. So almost like we may have to say every now and then, taking a deep breath and all those things, sighing it something. So that was the condition. So now her bosom rose and fell simultaneously. She was beginning to recognize this thing that was approaching to possess her. Something was there to possess her. Something is approaching to possess her, but she is not aware of what it is. And she was striving to beat it back with her will, as powerless as her two white, slender hands would have been. When she abandoned herself, a little whispered word escaped her slightly parted lips. So first, let's say she was trying to. We said something was coming to her. First, she was trying to defend that one, attack that one. She doesn't want to accept that one. Finally, she found that there is no chance of defending herself. Just she has to accept that. Then she finally surrendered to the things what was happening there. She just, okay, I am ready here. Whatever is going to happen to me, let it happen. So she surrendered herself. Then what happened? When she abandoned herself, a little whispered word escaped her slightly parted lips. She said it over and over under her breath. Free, free, free. Very dangerous girl. Now what is that? She said, finally, I am free. The fellow is gone. So she said, I am free, 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 free. What is she free of? Free of everything. Now she has no what is called barriers. Nobody is chaining her. She is just left free. She can do whatever she wants. Let us see. Free, free, free. The vacant stare and the look of terror that had followed it went from her eyes. They stayed keen and bright. Now, the vacant eyes, what is that vacant eyes? The vacant stare and the look. See, as soon as she received the news that her husband is no more, she received a real shock. It was there. Almost like she has lost everything in her life. So when she has accepted that one, now finally she accepts that one. These are things that has to take place. Or she finally accepted to the will when she declared that she is free. That vacant look of terror that had followed it went from her eyes. That terror and everything is gone. Now she is almost free. They stayed keen. What is stayed keen there? The eyes. Keen and bright. The pulses beat fast. And the coursing blood. Somebody asked anything? Diksha. All right. The coursing blood warmed and relaxed every inch of her body. The coursing blood. Rather coursing. So the course is what is coursing blood? The blood that is flowing through your body. Something just flowing. The flowing blood warmed and relaxed every inch of her body. What is that? Just now there is a free flow of blood, so that has relaxed every inch. So far she was so much tense. She was so much worried about all these things. Now she is typically relaxed, very free, as relaxed as some of you are sitting down here. Are you relaxed now? Or tensed? From the facial expression, I am not able to identify whether you are relaxed or tensed. Some seems to be happy. Anyway, so she was relaxed every inch of her body. She did not stop to ask if it were or were not a monstrous joy that held her. So she did not stop to ask her. She was asking, is it a monstrous, what is a monstrous joy that held her? Now thing is that something monstrous it seems to be. Why? Because you see the condition. What is the condition now? A condition where she has lost her husband and she is so calm, so she is so relaxed, no tension, nothing is there. So therefore, she feels or she has a doubt. What is it? Is it a monstrous joy that held her? A clear and exalted perception enabled her to dismiss the suggestion as trivial. Trivial meaning? What is the meaning of that word trivial? Somebody?
3 times.
Is that
3 times.
3 times?
Of less importance.
Somebody spoke or something? Okay, anyway, I didn't get it exactly what you people said. So can anybody just say correctly? Just say the sentence from there. What is that? So the exalted possession enabled her to dismiss the suggestion as trivial. So maybe she could not just almost like trifle, something leaving out. So trifle means, you know what is that?
Less important.
That's
Trivial.
important. So something that she was not able to just leave it out like that. She knew that she would weep again when she saw the kind, tender hands folded in death. So then she knows that although this something what is called calmness has reached her mind, she is a bit relaxed, she is joyful, happy, and all those things. But she knew that this one cannot be taken so something very permanent or something like that. She will be just losing everything this one when she see that when her husband's body is brought to the house, folded in death, the face that had never looked save with love upon her. Now from this sentence you may have to say the statement that this husband was not a bad person. The family life which they had, it was not a bad life. Because we can't call him as a very cruel person or something where she was about to somehow trying to get rid of that condition. No, that was not the situation. So he had looked at her, save with love upon her. Save with love upon her meaning? That save meaning. Divyanshi Tripathi, what is the save meaning there? No idea.
Memorizable.
What is that? Somebody said, what is that?
Memorizable.
I didn't get it clearly. So it is nothing but except, except, meaning to say that she never looked at her, rather he never looked at her except with love. So always looking at her with love. He was such a good person. Fixed and gray and dead. Now speaking about that one, fixed. Now his eyes, everything is fixed, gray and dead. But she saw beyond that bitter moment a long procession of years to come. Now she was again going back. At present, she got an image of that person, tender hand folded together, folded in death, and face that never looked except with love. Now lying fixed and gray and dead. But now she sees beyond that one. Beyond that bitter moment, a long procession of years to come that would belong to her absolutely. Now she is telling, now let's simply imagine that she is maybe 25 or 26 years of age and claims that this is only just starting of life. And so many years more for me to continue. So she is imagining that years to come that would belong to her absolutely. Now she says, I am not controlled by anybody there. Husband is not there. I am free to move around. So a life, new life, free from the control of her husband, absolutely free. And she opened and spread her arms out to them in welcoming a new life. Very dangerous girl, because she is planning so many things. As her husband's dead body reached to home, it is still in the accident site. It has not yet reached. Still, she is celebrating her husband's death. Am I audible to you? All right. There would be no one to live for her during those coming years. Another thing, what makes her very happy? There is no one. There would be no one to live for. See, generally when we are speaking about a family life, when we are speaking about for the father or the mother and all those things, so many things are there, so many cares are there, worries are there. They have to look after their children. When small kids are there, parents have got so much worry, they cannot die because their worry and their tension is they are living only for their children. So they have to survive. That things are there. If I am not there, what will happen to my child? That will be the tension which is there. Now she says there is no one for her to live for. She is living only for her. Those coming years, she would live for herself. There would be no powerful will bending hers in that blind persistence with which men and women believe they have a right to impose a private will upon a fellow creature. What is called a blind persistence, a blind belief we have got. What is called, we believe that what is called that contract of marriage, these two are bound together. There would be no powerful will bending hers. So all her freedom has to be surrendered before her husband. Maybe taking a typical Indian culture, if we take, wife loses her freedom to a certain extent. We are not speaking about completely. To a certain extent, she has to follow her husband's what he says she has to follow. Do you think so? Yes or no? Or wife can follow any way, any type of life she wants, and husband follows any type of life he wants, then we cannot call it as a family life. A mutual understanding has to be there. And that is what she said. I need not bend myself in front of anybody now. I am free. It seems that maybe there is a possibility of thinking that husband might have been a bit strict, asking her to follow all what he says. This is also a possibility. So whatever we might, the blind persistence with which men and women believe that they have the right to impose a private will upon a fellow creature. So it is not applicable only to men, okay? Sometimes we can see wives are so, what is called stubborn. Husband has to follow all what she says. That also we see in our life, in our society. So many cases we can see husbands are so much frightened of their wives. Have you heard about that one? What name do you call those kind of husbands? A husband who is frightened of his wife, or a person who follows always the instructions of his wife. There is a name for that one. What is that one? Vocabulary you should know what it is. Meda, you seems to be quite smiling there. Please tell me, what is that name that we generally call a man who is generally controlled by his wife? Anybody who knows, please let me know. Otherwise, I have to give homework, I think. You have to handle for the dictionary and all those things. You'll have to search for that one. These words you should know. Nobody? Very bad, these fellows.
Hindi or English?
English. If you say Hindi, I may not understand what it is, whether it is correct or not. Today also, I see so many people without your video on. Like that day when I gave scolding, today also I may have to give scolding, I think. For those who are sleeping and just keeping the... Anybody who can say? Nobody. The word is henpecked husband. Henpecked. Hen. Murga, murgi and all those things, no? Henpecked. Now you tell me in Hindi what you say. Somebody had asked me whether it is Hindi or English. So now I do not know Hindi word. So who can tell me with the Hindi word? Riddhi, you know? Hindi word also don't know. Yes, Mehta, what is that Hindi word? She's. I can't hear you. Anyway, leave it there. When you come to school, I will ask you what it is. Okay, forget about that one. So we were just speaking about that one. She believes that this, what is called controlling of her freedom, everything is gone now. She can live for herself the rest of the life that is yet to come. A kind intention or a cruel intention made the act seem no less a crime as she looked upon it in that brief moment of illumination. A brief moment of illumination. Illumination meaning knowledge or understanding. So the knowledge or understanding is the meaning what is given here as what is called illumination. So now she does not know whether it was a kind intention or a cruel intention, a kind thought or a cruel thought, whatever might have been the context in which what she was facing, whatever might have been. And yet she had loved him sometimes. That word, and yet she had loved him. One more word is there. Sometimes. She loved him only sometimes, I think. Often she had not. Oh, very bad condition. Often she had not loved him. So naturally, there is no wonder why she is planning so many things. What did it matter? What could love, the unsolved mystery, count for in face of this possession of self-assertion, which she suddenly recognized as the strongest impulse of her being? So now she says, what role it has got? Whether she loved or not loved, now she is going to face a freedom now. In front of that one, this mystery of love, unsolved mystery. Something that we cannot say anything about that love, what type of love we have got. So it was nothing when in comparison to the love which she has received now, or the freedom which she is going to. Free, body and soul free, she kept whispering. She kept on speaking, now I am free. From here almost we may feel that she was just waiting for this moment. Do you feel so? Or only I feel that she was just waiting for this freedom. Otherwise, she would not have been so quick in making this kind of comments there. Free, free, free. Jasmine was kneeling before the closed door with her lips to the keyhole, imploring for admission. Lucy opened the door. I beg, open the door. You will make yourself ill. You will make yourself ill. So what a misunderstanding you see. Where one person is enjoying it or planning for a new life, and the other one fellow is standing outside the door and saying, you will make yourself ill. What are you doing? Louis, for heaven's sake, open the door. She has been imploring, please open the door, open the door. Go away, I am not making myself ill. No, she was drinking in a very elixir of life through that open door. Elixir of life. So something that is a preparation, supposedly able to prolong your life, endless life, indefinite life you are going to give. So that is elixir of life. Something that may make you a magical liquid that can cure illness and extend life. That is elixir, what we say. So she was taking in that one. Not that some medicine was there. She was just in her thought. She was drinking this one. Her fancy was running right along those days ahead of her. Spring days and summer days and all sorts of days that would be her own. She breathed a quick prayer that life might be long. So what is that? She is dreaming of so many things. What is that? Ahead of spring days are there, summer days are there, all sorts of life. And she is praying to God, God, please grant me long life so that I may enjoy all this freedom here. She breathed a quick prayer that life might be long. It was only yesterday she had thought with a shudder that life might be long. Yesterday she was singing with a shudder. Oh, what a life it is, how long it is going on. I want to get rid of this life. And now she is praying to God, God, please grant me a long life. Now God is put into confusion, I think. Now what to grant? Yesterday's prayer or today's prayer? She arose at length and opened the door to her sister's importunities. There was a feverish triumph in her eyes, a feverish triumph in her, a victory, sign of victory in her eyes. And she carried herself unwittingly like a goddess of victory. She clasped her sister's waist, and together they descended the stairs. Richard stood waiting for them at the bottom. Someone was opening the front door with a latch key. It was Brindley Mallard who entered. What happened there? So after all this planning and all those things, she has just come down to see the dead body of her husband. But all of a sudden, her husband comes there all alive, fit and fine. So in front of the door with the latch key, it was Brindley Mallard who entered. A little travel stained, composedly carrying his grip, sack and umbrella. He had been far from the scene of accident. So unfortunately or fortunately, this fellow was not even in the site of the accident. He was somewhere far away place. He is fit and fine now. He had been far from the scene of accident and did not even know there had been one. The fellow was totally unaware that such kind of accident had taken place also. He stood amazed at Josephine's piercing cry, at Richard's quick motion to screen him from the view of his wife. So somebody was telling, Richard was telling, please cover him. Let us not see him directly. But Richard was too late. When the doctor came, they said she had died of heart disease, of joy that kills. Finally, what happened? Anyway, she was a heart disease person, a person with a heart disease, and naturally she got a shock of something and she died. All her prayer, all her freedom, everything is over now. In the place of husband, anyway, she died. Why she has died there? Anyway, doctor says she died of heart disease, or what is called a heart disease of joy that kills. I don't think so she died because of that joy or happiness. The shock that she received, so much planning she had, there she dies of heart attack. Maybe because of the sudden shock that all her new plans were shattered. Anyway, go through this story and try to understand the lesson. Seems very simple. Yes or no? I have taken little extra time today, 4 minutes extra. Whatever be it, we have completed. Anyway, in the next class also, we'll continue with the short story, maybe singing lesson. Oh, just let me see class section A, please raise your hands. Let me see once. Not that way, raise that button. Raise the hand button from there. All raised. That means just only 20 students are there from there. Now put down your hands and section B, raise your hand. All right, only 14 students are there from there. And section C, 20 should be there. Only 8 hands I see, or 9 hands I see. Okay. So now 14 students are missing. In the beginning there was 68 students. Now only 54 students are there. Anyway, today you will not have the last period. Okay. 5th period, you will not have class today. Today is the farewell of Sister Nancy. Are you aware that today she is leaving? Some are aware, some are not aware. So Sister Nancy is also leaving today. Prasanna, some doubt or you forgot to put down the hands? All right, whatever the case. So since due to the farewell what we are going to give, last period you will not have the class. So should I have to send the message or you will send the message to your friends? Okay, those who are not coming for the class, let them wait there. No. All right, so I will not be sending the message because if these people were to come for the class, they should have been aware of the class. And since they are so much worried and not coming for the class, I shall not let them know. Let them wait there. All right, see you then. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.